you're seeing days on market increases and you're seeing home prices that you can't afford, then yeah, it is going to look like a crappy market. But if you're a seller who actually needs to sell, or a buyer who actually needs to buy, and you're looking at the details, it's actually not that bad. It's kind of like Charles Dickens. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. It's not so dire that I need to be quoting A Tale of Two Cities, but I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the market, and we all should be paying attention. I'm Newman Dalton. Everybody calls me Dalton. I'm a Dallas-Fort Worth realtor with Keller Williams of Southlake. Tell you what, let's get back to the studio so I can talk in more detail. There. Isn't that better? All right, let's jump in. Before I get started, if you haven't been to my website, newmandalton.kw.com, and signed up for the newsletter, please do. Also subscribe to the channel, but go to my website, scroll down to the Interested Let's Talk section, fill it out, and you'll be eligible, or as a matter of fact, you will be ready to start receiving my monthly newsletter. And guess what? The newsletter is the only thing that I send out throughout the month. So I'm not going to be spamming you with a whole bunch of sales calls and all that kind of stuff. Just the newsletter, which is news that you can use. Now, there is an exception. If I find something in the market that I find particularly important to the people that I am trying to communicate with, I will send out an email, but I try to keep that rare. Otherwise, I'm kind of going back on the promise that I made to only send you a newsletter, but you want to get that important stuff because these are items that you might want to take action on. All right, let's get to the May market update. So I go over market trends, market summary, market update, and my favorite, of course, around DFW. Around DFW doesn't actually have anything to do with real estate. It's just cool stuff that happens in our area, like plays and car shows and new restaurants opening up and mechanics and, you know, vendor of the month and stuff like that. So if you want all that information, make sure you sign up. Let's get into market trends. I go with Tarrant County, and these are year over year numbers. And the reason I go with Tarrant County is because that is where I live and work. And Tarrant County is actually huge. It's got a bunch of cities inside of it, so you are very well covered if you want to live or do business in Tarrant County, and if you want to buy, invest, or sell. Make sure you're talking to me. All right, median sales price, $357,000. That is up 2% over last year. Now, 2% is a good gain in equity. It's not the double digits like we were experiencing back a couple of years ago. I don't think that that is sustainable because wages, there's no way that raises and whatnot can keep up with that sort of increase. So 2% is actually quite good. New listings, 3,319. That's down 1% over last year, and closed sales are down 1,968. So that is down 14.2% over last year. Now, the funny thing is that with both of those numbers, while they are down over last year, they're not down as much as they were last month over last year, if that makes sense. So things are, they're still not great, but they aren't as bad as they were last month. And these are kind of slow improvements, which in my mind equates to a little bit more of a market correction. We're kind of settling into the new normal versus a market rebound or market recovery, which means that we're going back to the heyday that we had, just a couple of years ago. Price per square foot is holding steady at $189 per square foot, and days on market, it's at 22. That is 15.8% higher than it was this time last year. Now that spells a little bit of hesitation amongst sellers to price homes at the cost that people are willing to pay, and buyers are reacting to that with a little bit more hesitation. Now let's just read through the market summary. The Tarrant County housing market in May shows early signs of spring resilience, with a modest increase in median prices and a slight boost in listings. That said, the number of closed sales remains well below last year's levels, meaning that buyers are still cautious. I was kind of talking about that earlier. Some reasons include interest rates, tariff concerns, job market fluctuation, and of course, inflation. Homes are selling a bit faster than last month, but still year over year, they're taking longer to move. This underscores the fact that in this market, pricing accuracy and strategy matter more than ever. Sellers who meet the market where it is. If you meet the market where it is, you are going to get results. Those who don't will likely face longer wait times for an offer and possibly even the dreaded price cuts. Nobody likes a price cut, not sellers, maybe buyers, but even then, if you cut the price on your house, that is sending signals to your potential buyers that they should be asking what's wrong with the house. Or maybe it's sending the signal that there's even more room for negotiation when you as the seller just negotiated by making that price a little bit lower. So you want to go in accurately. Like I mentioned, prices are ticking up, but just barely. I think that that's a good thing. That means that you're not likely to be underwater and alone if everything goes well. And that's, if you buy a home for $500,000, then over the course of the next 5 years, you're probably going to increase in equity, not decrease. That is not always the case. However, in the DFW area, our equity forecast has been at a steady 3 to 5% for quite some time now, save for the double digits that we experienced a few years ago. New listings are stabilizing. Yeah, I mentioned we were down, but not down a super large percent, which means sellers are getting a little bit more, confident that their home will move. Wasn't necessarily the case last year. So I'm going to jump into the pro tips. Buyers, now is a smart time to negotiate, with listings increasing slightly and homes sitting longer than last year. You have room to ask for price reductions or concessions, especially if the home's been on the market for more than 2 weeks. Ask sellers about buyer's agent compensation. If a seller will pay this, it's less cash due at closing for you. Now, buyers, don't tell the sellers that I told you this. Okay, sellers, this one is for you. Don't tell the buyers that I'm telling you this. Don't assume that a spring listing guarantees fast action. The right price is everything in this climate. Lean into accurate comps, price competitively from the start, and consider offering incentives like closing cost coverages and buyer agent compensation payout to stand out. It could kind of seem like I'm talking, out of both sides, but guess what? I'm basically saying the same thing to everyone because I want everybody to be happy and successful, and I want to make 2025 your year. We have to get to the reality of the market. Now, if you were to sell stocks, you saw that your stock price was at $100 per share. You're not going to say, oh, well, let me just list this stock at $150 because you know it's not going to sell. You sell at the price that the market indicates. Now, with housing, it is the exact same concept, except instead of the market and the company and whatever algorithms saying what price the stock is going to be at, what you're dealing with is yourself. You get to choose. You get to choose what your home is going to be priced at, but guess what? The market still gets to choose what price they're going to buy the home for. So what you need is a realtor who's going to be honest with you and do accurate competitive market analysis. Competitive market analysis is that a word? How about I just say who's going to do an accurate competitive market analysis for you? right? Let's get into upcoming events and fun ideas, aka around DFW. We've got the Taste of Dallas coming up. Experience the largest food festival in Dallas featuring over 250 exhibitors, including 60 plus restaurants and 20 craft breweries. A little bit more food for you. There's the Big D Barbecue Battle that's coming up June 9th through 11th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's going to be in Addison. And of course, it wouldn't be me if I didn't mention some kind of car show. This one is a little bit more pricey than I typically talk about on this channel, but it is kind of cool. It is art, cars, cigars, and watches. I love all these things, and this is going to be Saturday, June 14th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Ferrari Gallery Contemporary Art in Dallas, Texas. So these are all very cool things, and you can read about them in detail in the newsletter if you sign up. Like I mentioned, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, especially Tarrant County, and you want to buy, sell, or invest, or you want to be in Tarrant County, it's a great county, make sure you reach out to me. I would love to work with you. All right, I've been Dalton. This has been The Roof List, and you have been great. I'm out.